It's the Ray Darcy Show on RTE Radio 1. Wash your hands.
All right, summer may be over, but there is still plenty of growth outside, and we're going to talk about foraging and what you can make from the free food that grows all around us. Terry McCoy is on the line, and Terry is a chef and author of St. Patrick's Plate, which is food inspired by our patron saint, which involves foraging. Terry, great to chat to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I am looking at this book here, and I've actually been flicking through it during the song. My mouth is watering. The photography is brilliant. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love the front cover, which I actually think you could be a dead ringer for St. Patrick yourself.
Yeah.
Come here. For people who don't know, what is foraging?
Well, foraging is going out into the countryside and using a bit of common sense, but looking at everything that's growing there. And there's quite a number of things. Like at the moment now, the blackberry bushes are absolutely laden with fruit, and it's just such a lovely thing to teach children to do, to go and pick the berries, and they can eat the odd one, and hopefully you'll get a few in a bowl, and you might be able to make some blackberry jam from it, which is very easy and very good and full of vitamin C. Something else that's on the bushes now, you probably remember in May and June, the elderflowers, the white flowers, they're on the bushes.
Yeah.
Now they've all turned to berries now, and the elderberry is packed with vitamin C, and it's lovely to make a syrup from it at this time of the year. If you collect the berries by using a fork to strain the berries off. The stalks are not good. You don't need the stalks, but the berries themselves are excellent, and you make a lovely syrup to put over some ice cream or custard or anything like that. And it's full of vitamin C and very important for the immune system.
You can also make wine out of elderberries as well, can't you?
You can indeed. I remember my father doing it, where I got a lot of these tips from. And of course he had it under the stairs, and there was a big explosion one night. It blew up the bottle, and the syrup was stuck everywhere. You could smell it for years afterwards. But yes, you can. But the fermentation process is tricky, you know. But we have better equipment now to be able to let the gas out of the bottle. So you can, yes.
And I think, come here, I think with blackberries and crab apples and apples and all those things, they're kind of pretty straightforward. I mean, I think we've forgotten to go looking for them, and how in abundance they are everywhere in hedgerows and on the side of roads.
Yes.
But I think maybe what people, there's lots of stuff that we don't know about, I suppose. And if we're going looking for, say, mushrooms, for example, I don't even know, like, how many different types of mushrooms are growing in Ireland.
There's 40, Kathryn.
Is there?
And there's 6 of them are edible, and the rest could possibly kill you or make you rather ill.
And you see, I think this is the problem. People are a little nervous with foraging, because whether it's plants or nettles or whatever.
Loads of books on them. There's one particularly good book. It's a book by Richard Mabey, and he's several different editions of it. Food for Free, Richard Mabey, and it's available on Amazon and all those, because I was looking at it. I have a copy myself, but he'll tell you all about the various mushrooms you can have. But there's a few different copies of that. Okay. So you can get simple ones and more involved ones.
And I suppose that's the thing. If you're going out picking, if there's something you like, put it in your basket or put it, and then research it before you put it into anything when you get home.
Yes, exactly. But we're very fortunate here in Skerry, so we can go foraging down onto the seashore too and get seaweeds like carrageen moss.
Lots of seaweeds, yes.
And like there's a sea salad that might, it has a lot of different varieties that you can harvest, and sea spaghetti, which we would know it as the bootlace seaweed, but that can be made like spaghetti. It's really good for you. So,
well, listen, you've sent us in some goodies here. I'm looking at the during the break there, I buttered my brown bread.
Yes,
right, the lads went and got us some brown bread, and there's a beautiful jar of St. Patrick's Blackberry Jam, handmade by Terry McCoy. McCoy, and then there's apple, plum, lemon
compote,
juice.
Yes.
Oh, so this is the compote. Okay,
yes.
Apple and plum compote.
Very
okay,
wonderful on your porridge in the morning.
Okay, so I'm going to try the blackberry jam first. So, do you want to give us, as I'm talking, what are the ingredients in it?
Well, the ingredients are just blackberries and sugar, But I add some carrageen moss. Now, a lot of people will know carrageen moss, but it's an ideal thickening agent. So we're trying to reduce the amount of sugar.
Sugar, okay.
We used to say if you had 500 grams of blackberries, you'd use 500 grams of sugar, and that's what you'd make. But now we can cut down to about 150 grams of sugar if we use a few sprigs of carrageen moss. It will help the blackberry jam set.
That is
and
delicious.
of course, we don't have as much sugar in it then.
That is absolutely delicious. And when did you pick those blackberries?
About 10 days ago. The jam is made now about a week.
Okay. And where can people get it, Terry?
Well, now we're putting together a hamper at the moment, and it's ideal for Christmas. You'll have a pot of the two jams. You'll have a copy of the book, which tells you how to forage, and it has over 60 recipes in it. There's a little bag of carrageen moss in it as well, which will teach you to get started, kind of reduce sugar. So it's an ideal gift for Christmas, and it's available on stpatricksplate.com, www.stpatricksplate.com.
And tell me, Terry, when you mentioned your father there, that you learnt a lot from him. So you've obviously been doing this for years.
I'm an elderly man now, I'm 75 years of age. But yes,
Has it always been a big part? Because even when you had the restaurant, you had the Red Bank in Skerries there.
I had, yes.
So did you, a lot of your menu, did it come from foraging?
From the local. I'm very fortunate to live in Skerries in North County Dublin. Of course, the land of North County Dublin is terrific for walking out into the countryside and foraging away. So we used to use a lot of the ingredients that I could pluck wild, like wild sea spinach and that. So always kind of inspired like that. Yeah.
And come here,
I'd love to pass it on to the next generation. So that's why we've written the book.
That's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, probably not now during everything that's going on with restaurateurs and everybody in the hospitality industry just really up against it.
Yes.
Do you miss it? If it wasn't a pandemic, do you know what I mean?
Very, very much so, much so, because we're a very communicative bunch of people. We like talking to people in the restaurant business and the hospitality business. In Ireland, we're naturally gifted with it and the chat. And it's awful just what's happening at the moment. But the only thing I can hope to do is go out and into the countryside or along the seashore and get the fresh air in and do other things and make other things and try to come up with other ideas to kind of keep ourselves sane. But this was all inspired because when St. Patrick came back to Ireland, he came back across the Irish Sea and landed on an island off Skerries called Church Island or Patrick's Island. And he had to forage and eat. And, we've found lists of food back in the 5th century that the Roman soldiers had over in Britain. And really, this is what St. Patrick would have had available to him. There were no shops or supermarkets, so he had to go foraging along the shore. And apparently he lived to over 70, so he was very healthy. He ate very well, and he had loads of energy to traverse Ireland with no highways or byways. In those days, he would have had to walk his whole way. So I'm very strong on trying to use natural whole foods as much as possible and try to get away from the industrialised processed foods that we have as much as we can.
Just even for families now with the midterm, because we're all trying to get out and walk. But I was chatting to a friend of mine last night, and she said, if I have to go for another walk with the kids, I'm dragging them out of the house now. But at least when you think about doing something like this, it's actually very interesting for them. They have pictures, they have to go and find it. You can actually make it quite fun for kids as well.
You can, yes, indeed. But the whole thing is to take a look over the gate of the field, make sure there's no bull in it or anything like that. And do remember that the farmers own the land, so have some respect for the land while you're in the field, and to close the gate again.
Close the gate
but they have no problem. They're changing their attitude now, and it's very, very, very welcoming. It's a wonderful thing to do to teach children.
Very quickly, the apple and plum compote. I have put it on brown bread because I didn't have porridge. I'm going to take a mouthful of it now. And do you want to tell us how you made that one?
Well, that's simply, we picked the apples in Donabate from a friend's orchard, and the plums, he had a plum tree there as well, and that was in late September. And we just mixed the apples and plums together with an equal quantity of water to the fruit, and about half that weight in sugar, and just some carrageen moss again, a good few strands of carrageen moss.
Lovely spices in that.
Yes, there's some nutmeg and there's some cinnamon as well.
Beautiful. I would eat that on brown bread all day long. I love it.
The brown bread is very good, though. It's the recipes are all in the book, www.stpatricksplate, that will be included in the hamper.
It's a gorgeous book, Terry.
Yes.
And fair play. And the hamper, when it arrived up to the desk, it's presented beautifully. So again, as you said, lovely present. So fair play to you. Well done. And lovely chatting to you today.
Great. Thank you, Kathryn, and good luck.
Thanks a million.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Terry. That was Terry McCoy there. And all of the details of his book will be on our website. That's all from me today. Cormac and Sarah are next on Drive Time. Have a lovely afternoon, guys.